Good evening, everyone. My name is Chris Cooper, known as the Channel Guy Trader, and I'm reporting to you live from Wall Street Trading Satellite Office down in sunny South Florida. Today's date is Monday, April the 29th, 2013, and here is today's After the Bell Market Summary brought to you by WallStreetTrading.com. I want to first start off by taking a look to see how the indices are trading. Close the day out here. The Dow Jones was up 106 points. The Nasdaq was up a little over 27.5 points, and the S&P 500 was up a little over 11 points here. If we take a look at the breadth on the market, we had 4,391 issues advancing on the NYSE, the Nasdaq, and the Amex. We had 1,691 issues declining on the NYSE, Nasdaq, and Amex. So pretty much breadth was in favor of the bulls today. If we take a look at some of the key stocks that made some nice movements today, Microsoft was up 2.5% plus. IBM was up close to 2.5%. Apple was up. Apple Computers, they were up over 3%, and Google was up over 2%. Also had some decent action in the financials, at least from Morgan Stanley. Aside from that, all the other financials were pretty much down to flat. Some nice action in the energy complex there. And, a mixed day, but as you can see from the breadth, was in favor of the bulls. So let's go and take a look at the SPY. Starting off with the daily chart, the S&P 500 ETF here. SPY closed at 159.30, closing up $1.06, up 0.67%. Looking at this chart here, you can see we are coming into some prior resistance that we made from 2 weeks ago from those highs around 159.71. We tested those highs today and we backed off of those highs. However, the trend is still intact. We are above this key 156.84 level that we've been watching with you guys. All right, from back here. I do this in every video, but just showing you guys again here. All right, so we are back above this key 156.84 level, and we are above these key short-term moving averages right here. So again, we want to see if the SPY could break over 159.75 or so and take out those 160s and start moving higher. One thing to take note of is the volume. Ever since we sold off on that high volume last week, right, the volume on this nice little upward movement we have had here, all right, has been declining from those high sell volumes. Just something to take note of. Doesn't mean we can't get a volume spike right here, because we are going to be expecting a nice little volume day pretty soon, since we have this nice little downtrend volume pattern in the chart here. So keep an eye on that as well. So at levels you want to work off on the SPY, if we can break over this 159.75 level, this thing should continue moving higher. I would say the next level to hit will be 161, just working off the whole numbers. As you guys know, the SPY is making new all-time highs. All right, and what else? To the bottom side, we want to watch this key 158 level. All right, we may consolidate a bit up here, as I'm pretty sure it's going to get a little bit choppy, possibly with people trying to go short versus these highs. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see. We did have some nice little selling pressure that tried to come into the close again today here, as you can see on the SPY. Take the extended session off here. 1 second. Let me take this off real quick. All right, so you can see we did have some selling pressure come in a bit off of those highs. However, they did buy it right back up in the last 5 minutes here. All right, just keep an eye on those levels that we just discussed, and let's go ahead and take a look at the triple Qs. The Nasdaq had some nice action today. The Nasdaq was the leading index today, up 0.85%. As you had, again, IBM, Microsoft, Apple Computers, HPQ. They made some nice moves today, and this is looking a bit better here. As long as we can hold above the 69.10 level or so, should be expecting this triple Qs to try to go back and test these highs from last year around 70.58. We actually hit a high today of 70.48. All right, so 10 cents off of last year's highs. That's going to be pretty interesting, and that's why I think we're seeing this nice money flow into some of these technology stocks on this little dip down they had. All right, I mean, just taking a look at IBM. IBM was a nice little power stock today, up $4.84. All right, breaking back above this high right here at 196. All right, and getting back inside this little gap fill action that we have right here. There's a big gap in IBM all the way up to 208 or so, call it 207. Just about, yeah, 207. All right, and then the gap down here, of course, was right here at 196. So there's still a lot of space in this stock for it to try to make a move right back up here after getting crushed from those earnings numbers that they came out with last week, or on the 18th, I should say. Okay, so keep that on watch. Apple Computers, for some of you guys that have been looking for Apple to get a nice little bounce here, it got that bounce It's been getting a nice little bounce since last week, since those earnings numbers came out, and the stock had gapped down and then rallied all the way back up. All right, which was last week Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. No, last week Wednesday. All right, and so far we've been moving up. Now I talked about Apple looking to go up towards 420 because there, a lot of people that were short the stock with a stop above 420, and those market makers had to go hit those stops. People, come on now. So over 420, this stock just took off today. Nice movement there. I did not trade Apple. I don't trade Apple, but I do watch it as a gauge on the market. And you can see this thing had a nice little move up today on the 5-minute chart. Just a nice little trend day higher in the stock here. Let's see if it can get some follow through tomorrow. All right. If this stock wants to go, to make another leg higher here, we're going to be looking for the stock to possibly make its way back up towards those 465s or so. All right, we've got to see it break back over this 440 level. But if we break over 440, we start holding above 440. Look for this thing to make a move towards 450 first from right here, this action, and then look for those 465s. All right. Another thing to take note of on Apple is that it's been having trouble breaking past its 50-day simple and exponential moving average here, which is this gray line, this gray moving average. All right, so if you could break above 436 or 437, this little area right here, and start consolidating and holding above it, that would be a good sign as well, that maybe Apple has a chance to run up there, back up towards those 465s. We'll see. All right. Microsoft, the stock has been in play as well. Had a nice little move up today. The stock looks like it wants to go higher. It's going to be a breakout over 33. If you take a look at the monthly chart, man, this chart looks pretty good. Let me move this chart over here for you guys. Take a look at the monthly on Microsoft. This stock looks pretty good. Looks like it wants to go up here towards 38, 37. Take a look at the weekly chart. Looks pretty good as well, of course. Take a look at the weekly, 10-year weekly. All right. Once this stock can get over 33, this thing has a lot of potential to move up towards 36. So keep Microsoft on your radar for the coming weeks. All right. Stock is on the go, people. And Google. Let's take a look at the Goog. All right. Google, nice little move up today here, taking out, pretty much canceling out all this little chop action from last week. All right, getting a nice close over that little high that we made last week. So we'll see if this could get some continuation action as well. All right, now let me take a look at the Russell 2000 real quick because I skipped over that when I was showing you guys these technology stocks here. But the IWM was up 67 cents at Russell 2000. You can see we're back above that key 93 level. We may need to consolidate here a bit before we try to make a move higher because we have come a long way from those lows that we made down here. So keep an eye on this. If it can hold above 93 and consolidate a bit, and we can make a nice move over these 95s, or first over these 94s, and over these 95s, this thing can continue making its move higher for the year, as it has been the leading index, and it should continue to do so if the equity markets are looking to move higher. All right, I believe the Dow Jones, let me see here, the Dow Jones has been leading the way as well, along with the Russell 2000. Okay. NASDAQ's the laggard, so if we start to see the NASDAQ catch a bid and those stocks start to make some nice moves to the top side, then we could be looking for the next leg higher in the markets. If the NASDAQ starts to catch a bid and starts to show some strength, we can see some people looking into those equity names to pick up. All right, so keep that in mind. All right, what else? Let's go ahead and take a look at that VIX today. See what the VIX did today. VIX pretty much did nothing. And ever since we had that little spike up from that selling pressure that we had a couple weeks back, again, the VIX has sold off. Every time volatility comes in, like I explained in one of my weekend videos before, they sell it off. Comes in, they sell it off. Comes in, they sell it off. All right, let's go and take a look at the commodity space. The commodity stocks have been bouncing past couple of days here, starting off with the GLD, the gold. Okay, gold was up $1.39 today on the GLD. We do have this declining 20-day moving average right here that we have to watch. All right, we may need to consolidate a bit up here. I would not be a buyer of gold. If you didn't buy it down here when it was looking ugly, why are you going to buy it up here? All right, you're probably better off waiting for it to pull back a bit or consolidate and give you a range to work off of before you try to buy it. But either way, gold has been getting a nice bounce. Let's take a look at those gold miners. Those gold miners have been trying to get a bounce. They haven't bounced as much as gold. They still, they still look like they are in the crapper, for lack of a better word, or in the sell zone, I would just say. But we do have these little higher lows taking place, and some little higher highs starting to come in a bit here. Again, but we got to get, I would say we have to get over these 20-day moving averages right here and start to build a base before you can get any traction in these gold miners. Let's take a look at silver, SLV. All right, silver got a nice little break out of that little dollar range that we were watching between 22 and 23. Has 3 consecutive closes above that 23 level. Maybe this one could get a nice little pop tomorrow to try to move up towards those 24.17s and run into that declining 20-day moving average, 20-day exponential moving average, and simple moving average right there. As long as it can hold above 23, all right, we have to assume that this thing's going to try to trend higher and maybe start working its way back inside this little gap action up here. Okay, if it goes back below 23, then we're going to be looking for it to try to maybe fall back inside this little range right here that I was trading in. Last but not least, crude oil via the USO. Looking at these commodities via the ETFs this afternoon here. All right, USO back above that 33 level, which was the head and shoulders breakdown. You got your left shoulder, you got your head, you got your right shoulder, you got your measured move. It looks cleaner on the crude oil futures. If I was to show you guys, actually, let me go ahead and do that. I can show you guys the crude oil futures, and you guys can see the pattern for the head and shoulders breakdown that caused that weakness in crude oil. All right, you can see how that recovered pretty well. But you have your neckline right here at 92, your left shoulder, your right shoulder, your head up here at 98. That's a $6 range. You move $6 down from 92, and voila, you get your target to 86. That target got hit. We're back above the neckline. So anybody that was short crude oil would have stopped above that neckline. They got stopped out last week, and they continue to get stopped out if they are trying to hold that. You know, how much pain can they take? We'll see. But crude oils looks good back above 94. If we can stabilize above 94, that would be good. We'll be looking for a move back up towards 98. All right, that's the analysis on crude oil there, guys. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about some stocks now, some stocks that we'll be watching. Well, the Starbucks looks pretty good. All right, Starbucks is holding up pretty well. They came out with their earnings last week. All right, their earnings, they came out with 51 cents per share, earnings per share. They had an estimate of 48 cents per share, so they beat the earnings, and the stock's trending higher. All right, nice little move here. Weekly chart looks good. Monthly chart looks good. Keep an eye on Starbucks. We take a look at the 60-minute chart. Had a nice little move up today. I would say as long as it could hold above this area right here, above 60, right? This stock may pull back a bit, but if this stock can pull back towards 60 and hold 60, that would be good. We'll have a low, a higher low. Maybe try to catch it off some little move somewhere in this little area right here. Be careful buying these stocks up near these highs with this market action up near these highs as well, because you do not want to get caught in a pullback if the market decides to pull back for a couple days up here. Which, of course, there's no sign of that right now because we're just chugging higher. But if the market was to pull back or maybe say gap down and they were to sell it and then people were to try to go short versus these highs up here, all right, some of these stocks that are on highs that look like they're going to break out, they may pull back in. That's why it will be good if the market can consolidate up here a bit before it tries to move higher. But we'll see. Again, we're going to trade what the market gives us, so we have to work with that. And what else here? Some nice movement in the energy sector. These natural gas stocks got a nice little bounce today. DVN had a nice little bounce. Let me take off my drawings here. They have earnings coming out on Wednesday, so keep an eye on this stock. It has a nice little downtrend line right here. If it breaks this nice little downward channel, we could get a nice move to the top side. Back up towards 58. Keep that on watch. All right, COP had a nice move up today. It was up 99 cents. This one's looking pretty good as well. Has a little trend line resistance coming in here. All right, working back inside these little gaps that it had from when it gapped down a couple weeks ago. What else? Let's see what else. CLF. We talked about these stocks today. We traded X and we traded CLF today. All right, CLF is consolidating up here. Keep an eye on the CLF here. You got this inside bar, like one of my good friends on Facebook likes to say. All right, but inside bar action, making higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. Pretty much consolidating for a possible move higher. The stock has been beaten up a lot, so it could get a nice little depressed buy bounce. Take a look at the 60-minute chart. Had a nice little move today. If we can get above 21.19, 21.20 and hold, and then we could probably get a nice move up towards 22, and we'll gauge it from there. U.S. still had a nice little bounce today. We caught that for some morning side action. Not much. Some of these basic material stocks, they may try to get a bounce. All right. One thing that's causing these basic material stocks to get a bounce or catch a bid in them again, because the dollar. The dollar was weak overnight. Excuse me. The dollar was weak overnight, and it continued to show that weakness intraday. And the dollar, like I showed you guys before, I highlighted the fact that the dollar could go back up and recheck that little break of that little trend line, the upward channel, and it did. We broke the upward channel. We rallied back up there towards that back check. All right, we back tested that level and or that area, and we failed. Right, so now if the dollar index could hold below 82, we break these lows right here, we'll be looking for a move back down towards 81.50, maybe back down towards 81. And if that happens, we're going to be looking for these commodity stocks to catch a bid. Okay, so we have that on watch right now. Keep that in mind. All right. I like saying that, keep that in mind, don't I? In other words, folks, have a great night. I'll catch you guys bright and early tomorrow morning in our chat room. Our chat room is mywallstreettv.com. To get access to that chat room, you have to go to wallstreettrading.com and sign up for the 14-day free trial. On top of that, if you're interested in trading with our prop firm, contact me via email at ccooper@wallstreettrading.com. We can help you out with your trading career and help you get started in the right direction. Have a great night, folks. Catch you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. Cheers.